In today's video, I share with you Funcrecol Light Curing Putty. But before we get into today's video, just want to share with you what the GGGGs are for this month. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this month of July of 2024, we have 3 RPG spell stat trackers from Monster Gaming. And we have $100 going towards 3D Printable Rangers crowdfunding campaign, which is currently going on. Go ahead and use the link below to go to my Patreon page if you want to get in on the chance of being picked by Bob at the end of this month to receive one of these gratitude gifts. So I did do a video for Funcrecol resin for 3D printing. Go ahead and check that out here if you're interested in that. But they did reach out to me and asked if I would do a review video for them for their light curing putty. Now, one of the things I hate doing is actually filling in gaps in my models for miniatures. Typically, I just leave the gaps alone. In the past, I have tried to fill them in with green stuff, but just found it to be a lot of work, and unless the gap was huge, I didn't really notice that much anyway. So I was pretty excited about the possibility of having something that is easier to work with, able to fill in gaps, and would be able to cure right away just by using one of these UV light flashlights. So let's go ahead and check out how I used it for this base, for this one-page rules Epic War Demon, which I printed out previously. And I'm in the process of painting. I will be coming out with another video showcasing my painting tutorial of how I paint this purely using craft paint, not miniature paint, just to show that it can be done. But let's go ahead and check out this putty. And even though this printed out pretty good, there's gaps in it that I'm going to be filling in. All right, comes in this little box. All right, it's a little sticky, and this is from One Page Rules, but the actual demon itself really doesn't have seam lines. I mean, maybe right there a little bit, but not enough for me to want to putty it together. The seams actually go together really well on this model. But with the base, I do have some seams, some more significant seams that I want to cover over. Like, look how big that gap is there. So I'm going to go ahead and try using this putty. I got this tool for peeling off stickers. I can't remember what it's called. It has a particular name to it. I'm going to go ahead and just use this to try to see if I can fill in some of these gaps. Zoom in here and see how good it is. So the nice thing about this that I can tell is that it's somewhat clear, so you can see what's underneath it. One of the things I'm noticing about this, and sorry, I know it's hard to see where I actually put the putty, is that when I use green stuff, it rapidly becomes unworkable. So the thing about this is going to stay soft until I actually hit it with UV rays. So your working time is unlimited, which is a nice benefit. And I'm not sure what the toxicity is of this. Maybe I'm supposed to be wearing gloves because this is resin. I have no idea, actually. Does it say anything? Okay. Anyway, I'll do some research and comment on whether or not you should be wearing gloves while you're handling this material. And then this was where the huge gap was at. So you check that out. You can tell from underneath. So this is the thickest piece, and so I'll check out how well this section actually hardens because it's so thick. So here is my UV. I bought this, came in a pack of 2. Check out my Amazon affiliate link below if you want to buy this one, but there's a bunch of different ones. Turn it on, and typically, you know, shouldn't take too long. And maybe for a larger piece like this, where I have a lot, I can stick it back in to the hardener, what's it called? The curing station, where there's a lot of this to cure. But then you're double curing your 3D print, so maybe you don't want to do that. But we'll see how quickly this light will work on it. And I feel like this UV light is way weaker than maybe what's found in the curing station. But I have no idea because I've never looked into my curing station to see how bright those lights are. I think that's working. It's not sticky anymore. Yeah, that's pretty hard actually. Oh, you know what? Why this putty is somewhat translucent is because you want the UV rays to be able to reach inside and not just on the surface. And that's why it is slightly translucent, so those rays can get into the middle of the putty and thick spots like this. All right, let's check that out. Yeah, that has definitely hardened. So it actually doesn't take very long. And that's pretty good. Look at that. Alright, so now that it's hardened, let's see, how easy is it to carve into? Wow, that is actually really, that is really hard. I thought it was going to be softer, but that actually is the same consistency as the surrounding resin. So very impressed. I do know that you want to be careful sanding any kind of resin. Don't want to breathe that in. Yeah, that is exactly like regular resin. It's pretty darn hard. So that's impressive. That's really impressive, I think. So we're not going to be able to tell until we put on some paint. So let me go ahead and spray this piece and see if we can tell where the seam lines are at after spraying. Alright, so I put some spray primer, some dark brown on here, and I can see the putty more easily. See along here, and then especially along here, you see my fingerprints along here too. And I think normally I would go ahead and just paint it at this point because the ground is rough anyway, but I want to show you in case you put it on a smooth surface like on skin, which might be more common. I'm going to show you just how easily this is sanded down. So I'm just using my file set here. Like I mentioned previously, it pretty much is the same feel and material of the 3D print itself. So it doesn't feel any different from if I were to just sand or file down all of the surrounding resin from the print. So as you can see, you can get a pretty smooth surface just by sanding it down. Like I mentioned before, I think I'm surprised at how quickly it solidified and got hard. It's not sticky at all after curing. Alright, so now that I'm done with the base, I think it's pretty hard to tell where the seams are. I mean, this one is the best one. You really can't tell at all that there was a seam there and that I put putty there. And this comes all the way down to here. This is the thickest gap that I filled in. So this actually looks really good. And then I would say this one is next best, although obviously there's a line here, but that's because the foot rests on here. Didn't bother filling that in. But from here on over to here, looks really good. And a lot of that again is because this is rough anyway, so I don't have to get a smooth surface. And then here you can probably tell the most because of this piece of putty right here. But even here, I think it still looks pretty darn good. So overall, very pleased with this product. So there you have it. Hopefully this video is helpful for you. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, and use the affiliate links to purchase either the Funcrecol Light Curing Putty, which is about $26, the cost of buying a bottle of resin, as well as affiliate link for getting this particular UV flashlight. Also, I did provide a link if you're interested in picking up this STL file for this Epic War Demon from One Page Rules. And again, make sure you are subscribed because I will be coming out with a video of how I painted this up, finished this up with just using craft paint. Happy hobbying, happy painting. We'll see you next time.